Ascent. I'm Molly Carmel, and this is the podcast I always wish existed. A bite-sized, on-the-ground spiritual note that can shift your thinking and your outlook on life to help make us all a little bit more awake, alive, and ascending. So I want to tell you about my new friend, Kimberly, and what happened when I made a decision that the universe was ruining my plans. So, on the plane ride back from my trip to Morocco, my friend who I was traveling with, Betsy, and I, we were supposed to sit together. We had originally booked seats that were right in front of each other. So she was sitting right in front of me. So it was kind of like a hybrid. Like we were sitting together, but also we were sitting apart. So we could talk if we wanted to, but also have our own space. Very brilliant, by the way. But while we were in Morocco, we were just having the time of our lives. And Betsy was like, let's just sit together on the plane ride home. And there was one seat left, middle seat. And I said, yeah, let's do it. I'll take the middle seat. Like that's so fun. Sit in the middle seat next to your pal, talk through the trip, hang out. Great, great, great. So what a great plan I made. And then as we were boarding, we found out that Betsy's seat got moved on a completely full flight and she got upgraded, which means, good for her, by the way, which means I was sitting on a 10.5-hour flight in a middle seat next to two complete strangers. Now, listen, friends, as problems go, this is not a problem. It's a very high-class problem, if anything. I know that deeply. But in the moment, oh my God, you would have not have known that. You would not have known that. I was pissed. I was so annoyed. I was so angry. I was also uncaffeinated. But the plan I had was totally gone. And I was so discombobulated and disappointed. And I was like, all right, I have a new plan. I'm just going to sit quietly. I'm going to watch a lot of shows. I'm going to put my blinders on and I'm going to make it work. And so when I got there, the woman who was sitting on my left, she was great. She seemed really quiet. Okay, fine. Great. Plan in action. But then the woman who was to be sitting on my right sat down. And she was like the most adorable, sweet, bubbly person I may have ever met. She sits down, asks me where I'm from, asks the girl next to me where I'm from. Like she was just radiating energy, ready to chat it out, ready to make friends on this flight. And I thought to myself, oh my God, is this how I'm going to die? I really did. I was like, this may be how I die on a Delta airline back from Marrakesh. I am going to be trapped next to this incredibly happy woman who's asking so many questions. And I was like, how do I get out of this? And so I tried really hard. I gave her one-word answers. I tried to signal I wasn't into talking. And I'm honestly just not someone, you may not know this about me. I'm just not someone who wants to talk to people on planes. It makes me feel very suffocated. It makes me feel very out of control. I know. I'm here to teach you spiritual things. These are not spiritual things. I'm also here to tell you the truth. I just like my blinders on a plane. I like my own world. I actually love planes and quiet cars on trains for this exact fact. But then, and I don't even know how this happened. I was trying to think about it as I was writing down notes for the show. Kimberly and I started talking. I forget what we even talked about, but I guess she asked me one more thing and my soul kind of softened and we just didn't stop talking. We didn't stop talking. We were talking for 3 hours straight. And I mean, we just went there. We just went there. I was sitting next to a soul sister and I didn't know. We talked about life. We talked about this podcast. We talked about our upbringings. We talked about our futures. We talked about our passions, our belief systems. It was like the best date I ever went on in my life. And I want to tell you something. We are Instagram friends and we're still texting today. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that just brings me to our pocket sage today. She's a friend of the show, Anne Lamott. We use her books a lot. And this is from her book, Some Assembly Required. I love her. She's a wonderful writer. She's so honest and funny, and she's so deeply spiritual. And so she writes, I was reminded of the four immutable laws of the spirit. Whoever is present are the right people. Whenever it begins is the right time. Whatever happens is the only thing that could have happened. And when it's over, it's over. Let me read that for those of you in the back. I was reminded of the four immutable laws of the spirit. Whoever is present are the right people. Whenever it begins is the right time. Whatever happens is the only thing that could have happened. And when it's over, it's over. I know we need a pen for that one. I know we need a pen for that one. And that first one really lands with me. Whoever is present are the right people. I didn't choose Kim to sit next to. I didn't even want Kim. I wanted Betsy, right? But I know in the depths of my soul, and we even talked about this on the plane, she was exactly who was supposed to be sitting next to me. And honestly, I was exactly who was supposed to be sitting next to her. She was the right person. I was the right person. I just didn't trust the process, I just didn't know it. And so the word of the day today is surprise. Surprise. And surprise is what happens when the universe has a different plan than you do, which is often. And the universe's plan turns out to be better, which is often, probably always. And, I don't know about you, but I spend so much energy trying to control my circumstances, right? We just want things to go the way we planned. And when they don't, we get frustrated, angry, overwhelmed. We resist, we close off. We give nasty one-word answers to the adorable, kind, sweet, full of light woman who's sitting next to us, right? But if I'm honest, right, surprise is really an invitation. It's the universe saying, I have something for you, something you didn't know to ask for. Are you open to receiving it? And here's what I've noticed. I don't know about you, but the more I try to control everything, the smaller my life gets and the smaller my life view gets. The more I grip, the less room there is for anything unexpected to land. But when I stay open, when I'm willing to be surprised, my life gets bigger, richer, and more interesting. And, Kimberly couldn't have found me if I had stayed closed. She was knocking on the door and I almost didn't answer. And I'm so glad I did. And I just want to say, stories like this happen in my life all the time. We're on episode 82 of Daily Ascent, and I probably have 10 episodes like this. And I'll probably have 100,000 more as this podcast goes on. I think something is going to be one way, and the universe has a whole other opportunity waiting for me. And I really made a decision getting on that flight that the worst thing that could happen was being stuck in the middle seat next to a chatty stranger. And it turned out to be one of the best parts of my whole trip to Morocco. And this is what I'm learning, and I keep on trying to learn over and over and over again. The things I resist the most are often hiding the biggest gifts. The things I resist the most are often hiding the biggest gifts. The detours that I didn't want lead to the most amazing destinations that I didn't know I needed. Because Kim was not an interruption to my peaceful flight. She was, I think, the whole point of my flight. She was what I was supposed to find. She was the treasure. I just didn't know it. And, that's really the thing about staying open, isn't it? You can't know in advance which strangers will become friends, which inconveniences will become adventures, which, worst things will become best things, that deal, right? But we have to stay open if we're ever going to find out. We have to be willing to put down that closed-minded one-word answer and engage, to let go of the plan that you had to receive the plan that you're being given. And I really do think about how close I came to missing this little date entirely. I was so committed to my annoyance. I was so sure I knew what I needed. And if I had kept my walls up for another 10 minutes, I don't know that we would have started talking. I'd have put in my earbuds and missed the whole thing. And sometimes I think, how many of these Kimberlys have I missed, right? I don't know. The universe is always offering us surprises, I think is the point. And the question is whether we're open enough to receiving them. And so, your reflective question for the day: what are you resisting right now that might actually be a gift in disguise? You know, and speaking of gifts in disguise and resisting things, if you're someone who is resisting when it comes to your relationship with food, maybe the universe is trying to surprise you there too. Maybe you're just like white knuckling it or trying to control everything or so frustrated and positive you know how the story of your relationship with food and yourself goes, but you don't. What if something unexpected is waiting for you on the other side of staying open? Because honestly, that's what my entire stop starting over system is about. It really is staying open to a completely different relationship with food and yourself, one that you can't even imagine yet. So, if you're curious about that, or you're like, yeah, right, Molly, like, yeah, right, come schedule a call with me. You can schedule a free call at mollycarmel.com or look down in the show notes with a direct link to it. And know that I am right here with you, Ascenders. I am learning to stay open when the universe changes my plans, just like you are. We rise together. Until next time.